everybody knows the dance, okay? And we're doing Achy Breaky Heart.
Macarena, let's say.
Hey, that's a good example. Everyone knows the moves. Everyone knows. As soon as it comes on, it's like, enchanté, may I have this dance for the Macarena?
Is your dance card full? Is your dance card too full for the Macarena? Welcome to The Great Beyond, and Is This Good Companion Pod, where I catch up with my friend and yours, Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi, JD. Thanks for coming and producing the show. She was medically diagnosed on a podcast, Rachel Doyle.
Every day, a new disease I'm diagnosed with.
Who needs a doctor when you have Instagram?
That's right. Usually that just happens because you're listening to, let's say, Peter Attia or Huberman, and they're talking about some kind of disease or something, and you go, oh, I can't focus. I often have many thoughts at once. I must have ADHD. But in your case, Rachel, you were diagnosed because you couldn't hear the sound coming through your headphones.
That's right.
And that's how you realized that you're deaf in one ear.
Yeah. That makes sense. Great for the hypochondriac, just to listen to podcasts, believe everything you hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Perfect.
No, it's
well. You got to believe your eyes, believe your ears. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Believe your senses. Or in your case, hard. How could you believe something if you can't hear it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Believe your ears, except not that one, because there's nothing coming out of it. Or is there?
I was convinced these were broken for a very long time, but maybe I'm the one that's broken.
These your ears or these your headphones?
The headphones.
Right.
Or ears.
Right.
We're having a lot of ear problems over there because, Rachel, you just did, before we started, the very funny thing that I've done before, and that is a terrible feeling. For you, it's not so bad because you said it to your husband, but you comment on someone's appearance, but say that it's because of something. So in your case, you said, oh, that hat you're wearing is giving you elf ears, and it's like pushing your ears out. Mm-hmm. So JD took his hat off, and then you were like, oh, no, those are just your ears, actually. Taking off the hat doesn't help.
You never realized.
Where you're like, you go up to someone, you're like, oh, you have something on your face, and then they're like, no, that's a growth.
That's right. You have something on your forehead. Actually, it's Ash Wednesday. That old thing. Yeah, I've got elf ears, I guess. Fresh cut, Matt. I got a fresh cut because I'm going on a little trip. So
where are you going, JD?
Well, I'm going to a little place called Los Angeles, California
Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood for one day, and then I'm going to Palm Springs for a friend's bachelor party.
Oh, can I come?
I kind of assumed you'd be there.
Oh, okay, I'll come. I mean, I know you're coming.
Yeah.
I know we're going to the Palm Springs area.
Yes.
But beyond that, I don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
Not that there may be as much to know.
Well, I mean, I will not say this or that about it then.
Okay. Well, that's great for content. Speaking of which.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get back, I assume.
Yeah, that's true. I just spent the first weekend alone in a long time because Jill was at her bachelorette party.
Oh, very nice.
She got to try all the drugs, first.
Oh,
and
sweet.
Then, I said, why don't you let you and your friends be the guinea pigs, and then if they work, hand them off to us.
Right.
Oh,
and
geez.
we're good? We're good in that department, I assume?
Yeah. I'll tell you what's not good. I got a text on Saturday in a panic being like, the toilet is clogged. And I was like, okay, is there a plunger or anything? She's like, no, you don't understand. The toilet's clogged. And the water is rushing out of the toilet, and the water is rushing out of the shower.
Okay.
So at first they were like, how could this be? And by the way, they're in the Joshua Tree area, so it's even a little more rustico than where we're going.
Right.
And so they couldn't figure it out.
So what is the point of calling you?
Well, she didn't call me. I think she was more like, oh, FML.
Yeah. Oh, right.
At the Bachelorette, and now we got to take time out of our busy schedule of, of putting glitter on plastic penises to deal with this plumbing issue.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, can I do anything to help? And she said, no. What can you do? And I said, I knew I couldn't do anything, but I just felt like I needed to offer assistance.
Wow.
Anyways,
you could talk them through it like an air traffic controller landing a plane from the tower. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, in theory, if I knew what to do, yeah, I could do that.
Right.
Why? Would you know what to do?
Well, start with the plunger. You never know. You got to start with the basics. You start with the basics.
It's shooting out of the toilet. Was it a sewage
No.
problem?
It's clogged. It's clogged, and the water
clogged.
is, to quote De La Soul, 3 feet high and rising.
Right. So it's
coming.
it's rising out of the bowl.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So-
and the shower.
Okay.
The shower part I'm not getting. So the clog was so deep that it was clogging the shower as well? Is that what's happening?
I guess so. I mean, it's all pipes, right?
I'm having flashbacks to the sewage issue that shot out of the shower and the toilet simultaneously. So,
well, if we have any plumbers listening to this show, I believe that the waste pipe and the shower pipe are supposed to be two separate drainages, right? They're not supposed to go into the same spot.
So I shouldn't be shitting in the shower anymore?
Well, I would not advise it.
What a way to find out.
So what happened? Do they have to get a plumber in there? Or?
Well, I think the funny thing was they were like, I don't understand. Like, because, when you go to an Airbnb and it's in the quote unquote country, there's always signs everywhere that's like, do not flush anything down this toilet except the shitty one-ply toilet paper that we've given you.
Right.
And so they're standing around going like, what the fuck do we do? How did this happen? I've just been flushing, the paper and that's it.
No tampons?
Did anyone flush anything else? And everyone's like, no. And then one girl's like, wow.
Fuck, bitch, you flushed a tampon!
Don't call my wife's friend a bitch, Rachel.
I will call any woman I want to that flushes a fucking tampon down the toilet. They cause a problem. They cause a problem.
I think she flushed 3 tampons down the toilet.
At once?
Not in a row. Not. I assume not bulk flushing.
God.
Save these.
No, like you feel if you do it once, you're like, oh God, I really shouldn't do this. But thrice?
Wow.
Well, obviously she didn't know she was making a mistake.
How old is this woman?
12.
Fuck shit. Then that's excusable. She just started having her
hold on.
period.
Let's not shame this person. They may be listening to this show. So look, desperate times, maybe.
What's
maybe
the desperation?
I don't know. There was a full tampon that needed to be disposed of.
There's
no waste basket, maybe.
You wrap it in toilet. You take it out of the room.
Where do you take it?
To the kitchen.
Bury it in the desert, like a mafia boss.
They are in the desert. They're in the desert. You're right about that.
There's got to be a
There's
garbage
nothing
can
but
somewhere.
space.
Yeah.
That desert is filled with dead tampons.
Right.
Anyway, so they gotta now they're spending the day calling the host. And they can't get in touch with the host. Finally, they got the plumber over, and they were like, yeah. They're like, should we say what happened?
They're gonna know.
The plumber already knows. There's a fucking group of girls hanging out. Yeah, here's the tampon you flushed, bitch. Sorry, I said bitch again. I say bitch a lot.
Now the plumber's calling her a bitch too.
Wow.
Look, it's a pet
It's a
name.
female plumber. Just FYI.
Well, the funny thing apparently, and I haven't heard I did. Yeah, no. The funny thing was, he walks out of the bathroom. It was a man, Rachel. Sorry to disappoint you. And he goes, "Oh, I found the problem," and they're fully expecting him to, I don't know, with a gloved hand show 3 giant bloody tampons. Yeah. But he just pulls out wet wipes, and he's like, "You really shouldn't be using wet wipes." And they're like, We didn't use wet wipes. We don't have wet wipes. You could look around. There's no wet wipes here.
Previous guest.
Boom.
So how did they get there? How did they get there?
Guest. Well,
Someone must have been using them.
No,
obviously, yeah. It's an Airbnb.
Oh, so they were lying to him.
No.
Well,
the previous guest was using.
And it would still be there?
Yes, of course.
But he would have come to the tampons first, wouldn't he?
You would think. You would think. That's very curious.
Oh, maybe he didn't want to embarrass them by pulling the tampons out, and he thought that would be less embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a kind man.
Yeah, that's nice. What if it was like one of the plastic penis straws or something, and he didn't want to embarrass them?
Listen, the truth is that the tampons got mixed up with the turds, and they're hard to differentiate. But a wipe, you can see right away. That's my theory.
Oh wow, JD, that's actually really astute.
Huh.
You could take a tampon, which is white, which is the best color for holding new colors.
You're right.
It's not white if it's being flushed.
Yeah. That's
Okay. Well, it's red. That's even closer to brown. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Moving on.
I would argue brownish. I've seen a few in my time.
All right.
We've pulled a few out of our dogs' asses when they ate them out of the garbage can as well.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're cutting that part out of the show. I mean, like, we crossed the line already, probably 5 minutes ago, but that part of it's...
The truth hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The
The string came in handy, though. You
it
gotta
did.
admit.
It was dangling. That's how we knew we had to pull it.
Stop.
The sound of a cork coming out of a bottle was surprising, I have to say.
JD's like, it was a good year. Okay, well, we just got to make sure that nothing like that happens at the bachelor party.
Yeah. Well, okay.
should be okay.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go around and flush all of the toilets a pre-flush, just to check the flow, because there may have been, a bridal shower there beforehand, right? Or
so you can't be blamed.
A bachelorette party.
You got to tell everyone, don't flush your dude wipes, dudes.
I mean, I
don't think anyone's bringing dude wipes.
No.
You guys don't like a nice fresh butthole for...
It's not good for the plumbing.
Yeah.
No, but you can put it in the garbage can.
Oh yeah, sure. I just don't think anyone's gonna take a dump. I mean, actually, it's a lot of men.
No one's gonna
You don't
take
think
a
anyone's
dump?
gonna take a dump?
Oh fuck! Why are we back here?
You just said something
Sorry, I know
outrageous.
you haven't seen the itinerary, but it's definitely on there.
Over and over again.
JD, I wanted to ask you about something because you had a big live show.
Oh,
last week.
yes.
We haven't gotten a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
How did it go from your perspective?
From my perspective?
Yeah, sorry. This was a No Dunks live show in Atlanta.
Yep.
At the theater that I believe I used to do improv at.
It is.
Oh,
It's a nice little theater, 7 stages in Little 5 Points. Look, I'll start from the audience perspective. I think they really had a good time. Like, everybody that people talked to after just seemed basically thrilled to be there. We were giving out free pizza from Savage Pizza, who were great, by the way, and people were loving the pizza.
Why were you giving out pizza? Maybe that's, I don't know if you want to reveal these behind-the-scenes production notes.
Yeah. But. So, okay. The sponsor of the live show is Tabasco, and Tabasco wants to make putting Tabasco on pizza a thing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's sort of what they're trying to do. And so it was, hey, we could give everybody Tabasco and order a shitload of pizza, have a pizza party, basically, is what we pitched it as. And they're like, yeah, we love it. And then we did a bracket of pizza toppings, and
yeah, I heard that.
Which was hilariously fixed, obviously. It was basically an ad for Tabasco, which lasted 17 minutes, but it was...
Do you agree with Skeets that extra cheese is not a topping?
I do agree with that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too, but it is in the... Actually, it's not in the topping section.
Why isn't it an extra topping?
It absolutely is a topping.
No, an extra... Wait,
it is in the topping section. It's
no,
something
it's not.
that...
Extra cheese is in... If you go on the Domino's, build a pizza, I'm pretty sure it's cheese, like no cheese, regular cheese.
Oh, you're right.
Extra cheese.
On the Domino's.
And then there's a topping section, which is like mushrooms, pepperoni, bacon, blah,
It doesn't
blah, blah.
cost more?
It does cost more if you
want
want
it does,
extra,
yeah. But it's an
cheese.
extra, but I don't know if it's a topping.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they may have taken that out of the topping area because it's a contentious topic. Is it a topping? It should already have cheese, and you should be putting the perfect amount of cheese on. That's what the argument is.
Okay, but is there not a pizza that's like, there's a pepperoni pizza, but there's also a back the truck up and dump a shitload of pepperoni on this pizza.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but pepperoni is a topping, so you can say double pepperoni.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then fine. If we're saying cheese pizza, extra cheese can't be a topping because it already has cheese on it. Then shouldn't the argument be the same for pepperoni pizza, where it exists the possibility to put extra pepperoni on it?
I agree.
Look, I know I'm talking to a lactose intolerant person here, but listen, the basic pizza is crust, sauce, and cheese, right?
Yeah.
And if you're designing a pizza, you should have the exact right amount of cheese on your pizza. And if you want extra cheese, it's extra cheese.
It's definitely a different pizza.
But I'm not
with
calling it a
extra cheese.
topping.
But what about these people that want extra, I don't know, hot sauce on something, extra ketchup on something? The restaurant is putting what they believe to be the perfect amount of cheese or mayo or something, but freaks are going to Subway and going, squirt a lot more of that Southwest sauce on there.
Fair enough. Okay, let me ask you this. At what point is life, no, is pizza. Do you know what I mean? Is it crust? Is that pizza?
I think it's crust and sauce, actually.
Okay.
Really?
So sauce.
The Italians will eat a pizza that's crust and sauce.
I agree. Yeah, of course. I don't know. For our purposes, hey, we had cheese as a topping, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I know, but that was the argument. Anyway, sorry.
I didn't think it should be on there, but what do I know?
But it's fun to argue about, so it's
fun.
a good topic.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
Say it's a good topic. JD, when you were a kid and you had a headache and you took ibuprofen, did you ever wonder how the ibuprofen knew where to go?
I still wonder that. My head hurts. I take ibuprofen, and it just knows to go directly to the pain in my head.
Yes, exactly, because you take that pill and it goes everywhere. But you know what's not like that? Deodorant. I used to think you could just put it on your pits and that would make you not smell.
Right.
But that's not the case. Many years of experience have told me that's not true because your whole body's sweating when you think about it. It's excreting, it's sloshing about. The smell is coming from other places besides your armpits.
Yep. When I take off my shirt, the whole thing stinks, not just under the arms.
Exactly. So what's the solution? I have it here in my hando. It's Mando! Mando is a full-body deodorant that goes everywhere, including, JD?
Your ass.
Oh, you changed it up this time. Yes, your ass. But because your ass is on your body, then technically that's true. You put it on your cheeks, you put it on your undercarriage, you put it on your belt line, you put it on the back of your knees, you put it on your feet, you put it on the palms of your hands, anywhere that smell. And in this case, I'm smelling like Mount Fuji, JD.
Ooh.
Crisp and clean like a mountain stream. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day. And you know, ironically, who could use this? The Mandalorian. Because he's got that suit on. That Mando is sweating. The Mandalorian needs some Mando.
Never takes it off. Never takes that helmet off. He's got to dab it behind his ears.
Yeah, he probably never takes it off because he stinks. But if he had Mando, he'd feel more confident. Living out loud, so to speak.
That's right.
Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code GOOD at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. That's shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Use code GOOD. But sorry, I got you off track.
Anyway, it was a great event in terms of the fans. The fans were great. The guys were great. But it was an unmitigated disaster. Like, from basically the beginning to the end of the show. Like, it was a fucking
That's not true.
gong show, shit show.
He's
Were you there, Rachel?
I was, and he is a perfectionist as...
No. Hold on. There's perfectionism. Okay, this is what happened. So we did a sound check. We got everything, in place. It was wild because we had hired an outside crew to come and shoot the thing. So I was like giving them camera directions, very basic shit. I had Kendall from The Athletic. She was getting some crowd shots. Ash was my right-hand man. He was like putting out fires on the floor, and he was going to be the beach stepping, like the audience questions man with the mic, which sounds like a lackey job, but it's actually quite important to get to the people and control the mic and all that stuff. Anyway.
And were you the sound guy, or was there a venue provided sound?
Yes, but
a woman.
There
Take
was a sound
that off your list of blame.
There's a sound. Well, this goes back to our conversation last show, guys, where it's like, hey, let it go, let people do their thing, man. Don't take care of everything.
If you want something done right, do it yourself.
That's right.
I was trying to convince you that maybe you should let go of the reins a little bit, but you seem to sort of start agreeing.
I did,
and now all that progress has been thrown.
And I was inspired by that conversation. It was like, you know what? I'm going to trust this pizza guy. He's going to show up when he's going to show up, and he's going to do everything he said he's going to do, which he did.
Yeah,
I'm going to trust.
Yay, pizza guy.
Yay, pizza guy.
This is not a stretch, but I'm going to trust Ash is going to be where I need him to be, and blah, blah, blah. And everything happened. Like, we had literally my kid and Esh's kids, they were stuffing bags of Tabasco tote bags with Tabasco. Anyway, all that stuff was happening. This 20 minutes before the show, I was on the phone ordering 25 pies, right? with giving them my credit card number and all that, right? Somebody had to do it. So anyway, about 5 minutes into the show, horrific interference on the cordless mics started coming in. Like,
that was perfect.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Wow.
Like, and ear splitting, right? Like, and the guys are pros, so they plowed through, and the audience were great because they were very forgiving. But I'm not kidding. Like, every 10 to 30 seconds, you would hear like, no, it was because I cut.
So how did you get that off the record?
I went in with my scalpel and I cut around all of them, and a couple I left in because
I only heard like two.
Yeah, and we switched out the mic. So on the video version, you can see there's a sort of like, we'll be right back. We're changing the mics, because then his only backup was wireless lav mics, which sounded like fucking garbage. Like, but it's all we had. And the most important thing that had to get taped and posted was this pizza bracket. It was the sponsored event of the whole show, right? Mm-hmm. They were paying for the whole thing, right? So we got it done. It took like 9 hours of surgery the next day for me.
Oh,
just cutting around and figuring out where it was, and then the lav part, I had to basically EQ it, like, from scratch, like just go through the whole thing, each mic. And it was,
just so people know that are listening, let's say you didn't have to match the audio to the video. Let's say this was just an audio-only podcast.
Right.
You're saying the audio and video took you 9 hours. How long would it have taken you if it was just audio?
Oh.
Like half the time?
It would have taken probably, half time, 4 hours or so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So anyways, from my perspective, and not to mention the fact that it's fucking embarrassing, right? Because
so what happened? Why did I assume they have shows there constantly? Why was there suddenly interference?
This guy is he works on film crews, I guess, basically. So he had like these film, like, state of the art film wireless mics and wireless handhelds, but he just wasn't prepared for a backup, like to have wired mics. If, I don't know, a fucking police car drives by and the police band or whatever, like, I had never heard this kind of interference before. It was like that scene in Spinal Tap where Nigel is playing his guitar on the Air Force base and it's getting, the air traffic controllers coming through. That's basically kind of what it was. So it was just, So
you must have been going absolutely nuts.
Totally. And then
were you yelling at this person, or are you just sort of doing your more of your JD? Fuck, geez, fuck.
Well,
I don't give a fuck, shit.
That's me. I was still running the graphics and running everything up on stage.
Oh, so you were on stage and this person was back. I
was in the booth. This guy was set up on stage. So Ash was going down to talk to him, and every so often he would come up. He's like, first of all, he comes up and he says, "Oh, it's because they have their phones in their pocket." I'm like, bro, this has not been a thing on flights for 10 years. You think it's their iPhones are causing interference on your cordless mics? I'm like, okay.
Well, but also, like, that's never happened before in a literal theater where you have acts up here 7 nights a week.
Right.
No one's ever had their phone on them before.
Right. Everybody had their phone on them, right? So
yeah. You should have made everyone in the audience put their phones in a Faraday bag, like at a Dave Chappelle gig.
Oh God, we were there. The first thing Skeet said was,
"We're gonna say some horrific shit. So if you could put your phones in a sealed bag, that'd be great."
Now that's happening at the bachelor party, but
You know what? That's good.
That's a good idea.
I support that.
I'm kidding. The guy was his first time being in that theater, right? So I was up top with the actual board for the live sound that he was feeding me, and then the lights and the projector and all the graphics I was taking care of. And so he was on the stage, no way of communicating him other than Esh, and I'm like, go tell him to swap him out, like swap out to the labs. And the guy's just like waiting. He's like, I'll just wait for there to be a break in the show. I'm like, there's no fucking break in the show. Like, yeah, it's like he came up at one point.
What did he think was going to happen?
I don't know. Like, he's like, can we just have a quick intermission? I'm like, no, there's 25 pizzas in the lobby. They're getting ice cold. And this thing is already too long. Let's go. Let's get these fucking
I got the Tabasco people breathing down my neck.
Exactly.
Okay, but you are calling it an unmitigated disaster. But from the interpretation of the audience, it was not. So
okay.
I understand why you would feel that way, but everybody took it in stride and still had an awesome time. And the guys did such a good job of rolling with it.
It was, that part of it was fine. And again, the audience is our crowd, and so they're super charitable, which is very nice, obviously. And again, I went out to the lobby after, and people were like, this was awesome. We had a great time, blah, blah, blah. But it's still when, the show starts with, hey, I'm Jay Skeets, that's Tess Mellis, there's Trey Kirby, and making all of this happen is JD. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, you are totally to blame.
And I'm like, who else are they going to blame? And
did you have a mic back there where you could have gone voice of God? Like, not me.
Yeah. He...
I didn't no control over this.
Related to the, you should do everything yourself kind of thing, he did suggest that they buy equipment so that they could do the sound and not have to hire anyone and do all the...
For the amount of
money. I
money...
can't believe the venue didn't provide a sound person that had worked there before, or at least that you could hire. Like, it's not included, but we have a guy that works here, and we're here for 10 years, you could hire them.
There was one guy there, he was great. He was on lights, but he was actually a sound guy as well. Oh. So he was kind of helpful, just basically saying, backing me up, because the guy was like, it's them up there, it's your computers up there next to the board, it must be. Like, he blamed us until he could no longer blame us, and then it was.
But you know what? But sorry, can I? Now I'm angry.
Okay, good.
Because I fucking hate sound people.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say sound guys because it's always a fucking guy.
Always.
And I've played in bands before, not nearly to the extent that JD has, but from the first moment when I was 18 years old and played in a quote unquote professional venue for the first time, I was like, what the fuck is up with these people?
Yeah.
Well, at first it was, what's up with this guy? Then after the fifth time, I was like, oh, it's just these people in general.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So the thing I'm angry about is, fine, let's say it is their phones and computers that's causing this interference.
Sure, okay.
Fine. I don't think it was, but let's say it was. That's actually not their fault. Their job is to come on and do the show that they need to do. The best possible show that they can do.
Yeah.
Your job in the sound check is to fucking figure out what they're doing and what you need to do to make that happen. Yeah. And so if during sound check you're like, hey, your phones are making this thing go, or if it's your computer, they don't need their phones, but if they need the computer, the computer's gonna have to be run from back of house or something like that.
Right.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
You should know that.
And this guy should have been like, he literally sat there for 2 hours before the show, and
because you know why? Sorry to jump back in here. They're going, what a snooze fest.
Yep.
I just got to listen to three guys talking to a mic. This isn't even worth my time.
Yep.
I've mic'd up thousands of indie bands. You know what I mean? Like, I can get a hi-hat sound just right. So this is not. So they just fucking sit there doing nothing, and then the show goes to shit, and they're like, it's your fault.
Yep. Exactly. And he could have been like walking around with each mic, the whole theater, like for 2 hours, just making sure. And, it's a 3-mic setup. You could have just brought 3 XLRs with mics in. I'm sure you have them. They're dirt cheap. And this is where I'm like kicking myself going, I have that. I could have brought that. And by the way, the stuff that I was using in the booth, all my gear, like, they're like, do you have any, let me find an HDMI cable for you. don't worry, I got it. It's like, oh, I actually have one here. I'm like, okay, we'll use yours. Doesn't fucking work. So then I use my thing. And then the connection from the computer to the soundboard. Oh, there's a buzz. Something here. Let's try every fucking track. You know what? Let's use my cord that I brought. And then we do that whole dance. So it's just like, luckily, I did half of what I usually do, which is like micromanage every fucking thing. So anyway, again, it was a great It was a great party. It was a great event. I think Tabasco was happy, and I think more importantly, I think all the fans were happy. It was just, from my point of view, it was a disaster. And by the way, there was a 30-minute beach stepping segment in the middle of it, which we had no mics. Like they're literally just yelling. It was a theater, so who cares? People. That's how people do plays all the time. So that wasn't the biggest deal. But one of the guys stood up and said, "Hey, first of all, shout out to my brother Greg who couldn't make it here tonight." It's like, well, Greg's never going to hear that. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, so, but what if he meant shout out to my brother Greg who couldn't be here tonight because he's dead?
Well, okay, maybe then he's definitely hearing it. Anyway. Then he's definitely hearing it. Anyway,
sorry, just trying to put a positive spin on things.
So positive.
Anyway, it was fine, but there were some good laughs and good moments in the beach stepping part of it, and the whole point of doing a live show is to see the fans, right? To interact with the fans and have even if we cut that down to 15 or 10 minutes, like, still, it would have been cool to have in the live show. And it just didn't happen. And it's just like, and it's gone forever. Although, those people got to experience that.
Yeah, that's the magic.
That's the magic, I guess. But still.
Okay. Well, I'll take a deep breath now.
Sorry for ranting there.
No. I mean, look, the truth is I would have been where you were standing, and I would have been fucking freaking out, too.
Yeah.
And pissed off too.
The really annoying part of all of this is, like, leading up to this, I was trying to set up like a Zoom call or some sort of meeting with the crew because I had never met them before. I didn't know who they were. I didn't even really know what gear we were getting. And I was just trying to be like, hey, let's all get on the same page. It'll literally take 5 minutes. And I was like, reached out to their manager and they're like, okay, well, let's check and see. And so I threw out, hey, let's have a Zoom meeting on Thursday. And then the sound guy emails me back immediately and says, and only to me, not to the group, I'm not available Wednesday! ! End of email.
Oh my God.
Is that the same one where they're like, I already had a meeting with you. Goodbye.
Yeah. And then after that, he's like, he called the theater guy at Seven Stages. And he's like, who was like, look, I don't know anything about this show. They rented the space, so I don't know. Like, you're gonna have to talk to JD. And then I emailed him back and said, hey, actually, I was trying to be as nice as possible. Like, a little bit of confusion here. Although clearly I said, let's do this on Thursday. He's like, I'm not available Wednesday. And I'm like, actually, I meant Thursday. Are you available Thursday? And then he emailed me back and said, I already talked to you, and I'll just see you at the gig. I'm like, yeah, definitely didn't talk to me. And then
you already fucking hate this.
I hated him going in. I hate him going in.
Like, did he receive any criticism after his performance?
Well, yeah,
that could have been ameliorated by talking to you for 5 fucking minutes before the show.
Yeah, we did have. Well, here's the thing: we get to the gig, and he's there, and he's actually a really nice guy, right?
Oh. Damn it! I hate it when that.
Yeah. No email etiquette whatsoever.
No etiquette. I'm like, okay, he's kind of a hippie-ish dude, whatever. I cut him some slack there, and then everything goes wrong. And then the next day, I'm in the middle of the surgery. The guy that I'm dealing with at the Athletic, Tim, who's also been great. He's like, okay, well, we're gonna jump on a call with the management company of these freelancers, and we're gonna talk about what happened. I'm like, fuck, I don't feel like doing that, but anyway, I jumped on a call, and I guess I don't think he's gonna be doing those kinds of shows for them anymore.
Well, so, I mean, good.
Yeah, I know. It is good. I mean, it is good. And he was at the end of it, other than the blaming us for everything. At a certain point, he finally took responsibility, and he was very apologetic.
But he also refused to talk to you before the gig started. Before the gig.
No, while we were there.
No, I mean
beforehand.
You're saying he was an old hippie, so I guess this does not apply to him. But there is a thing which is understandable to me, where if people are getting paid for, let's say, 3 hours, like from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. to do your show, then they feel like, well, you're not paying me to do a pre-production call, and my rate is $50 an hour, let's say, or $80 an hour.
Yeah.
So I'll be making that much for 3 hours. So do you want to pay me for an hour to do a pre-production call? Because otherwise, then I'm doing it for free.
Yeah. No, that's 100%.
You also
correct.
said it would only take 5 minutes to.
I didn't say that in the Zoom.
Oh.
Or in the email. I mean, I shouldn't have to. But this guy, the sound guy, was the one guy who responded. The other guys didn't even bother responding. So I'm like, okay, well, this is not going to happen regardless. So.
That is so fucking weird.
He's like, all right, I'll deal with. I've dealt with way worse. Like, honestly, like in my fucking 30 years of doing this shit. So whatever there was coming at me, I could have dealt with, and I did deal with it. But it was just. It's when you're right. You're right. I'm right about this guy, and he proved me right, and now I'm mad at myself for being right and not not doing anything about it.
But you did. You tried to say, hey. Let's just do this ourselves, guys.
I did try to wrench the reins over, because the amount of money they spent on this company was like.
Then it's just an easy. You fucked up.
Yeah.
You didn't perform, so why would we hire you?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
There have to be consequences.
There has to be consequences.
I want to ask you about a stone thought I had last night. Usually I don't remember them, but I remembered this one.
Okay.
Before we started.
A new strain or something, or is this?
No. Just a thought. Just watching. Den of Thieves, Pantera, and just had a thought. Nothing to do with the movie.
Okay.
It's when sometimes we're watching art that our mind can wander. JB.
Yes, of course.
Explore.
Of course. Well, I can't. Is Den of Thieves something you should watch, Stones? I haven't seen any of the franchise.
It's not as good as people will tell you it is.
Okay.
I unfortunately have to say.
Okay.
And the second one has moments, but it's very long.
Okay.
It's well over, I think it's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, well. There's a lot of thieves, I think. It's a big den.
And I will say, sorry, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is not a good actor.
I don't know who that is.
He won't hear you if you whisper.
Ice Cube's son.
Oh, I thought he was great as Ice Cube.
One thing turns out he doesn't have the kind of range to play people that aren't his father. I see.
You could play your dad pretty well, I bet, if you had to.
My dad?
No, well, both of you probably. You get to know them so well. You could probably do a good impression of them, no?
Well, it's way more fun for JD. He would get to be a grizzled cop in this production.
That's true.
Okay, so here's the stone thought. Will kids born in the 2060s listen to music from the 1960s? And I'll explain why I'm thinking that. Because I was thinking that I was born in 1981. I don't listen to music from 1881.
Yeah.
And it's classical music. And I think Brahms was operating at the time. So yeah, I've heard his lullaby and it comes on, but I'm not reaching for it ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But popular music starts in, the 50s, rock around the clock, whatever is ground zero for pop music, rock music.
Yes.
And we're still, I know we've expanded to hip hop and EDM and all these other things, but rock music is still a thing and has its roots in almost everything, really.
Yeah.
So I could conceive of someone born in 2060 having, let's just say, I don't know, Here, There, and Everywhere by the Beatles as their first dance wedding song. There's no way that I'm going to pull some fucking Chopin out for my first dance.
Right, but there's more storytelling when there's actual lyrics. So maybe you can connect to it better with lyrics.
Oh, but that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, the Beatles is not a difference. It's maybe a difference of degree, but it's not a difference in kind from any rock band, from Maneskin or any rock band that's popular now.
Right. Yeah.
With the kids, right?
Maneskin? Is that
they did that cover of Begging. Anyways, I couldn't pull a modern band. I mean, fucking Tame Impala, whoever. The White Stripes. I mean, that's an old band, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you listen to pop music, even Taylor Swift, there you go. That's a good example.
Yeah.
It's possible to me that the music of the 60s will still make sense to a listener in 2060, whereas the music from 1880 did not make sense to me.
Right.
So do you think that kids born in the 2060s will listen to music from the 60s?
That's a great question.
Or fuck, even the 80s. Even the 80s. That's 80 years.
Right.
I am not listening to music from 1901, except the song 1901 by Phoenix.
Right.
Which is a good song.
That's a great song.
Yeah, what do you think about this little brain puzzle I was working on last night?
So, sorry, Chopin, you said, was operating in the 1860s?
I think he's a little earlier, but I do think Brahms was in
Brahms.
the 1870s.
I like to have the classics playing in the background.
Yeah, we always have the classic music playing in the house, always.
But
so you're saying actually the premise is wrong because people born in 2060 will still be listening to music from the 1860s.
I think there will always be a place for classical music. Mm-hmm. I think,
of course, but you don't think there's a difference there? Like, I understand you have it on in the background.
Right.
But I don't think most people of my generation, let's say people born in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, the millennials, I don't think they're constantly listening to classical music in the same way that they might be listening to music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Okay, so let's look at it from the point of view of like a classic sort of Victorian era waltz, for example, where you're at a ball and a waltz comes
a cotillion, perhaps.
Yes. Everybody knows the dance. Okay. Fast forward 100 years and we're doing Achy Breaky Heart, Electric Slide or whatever, like
Macarena.
The Macarena. That's a good example. Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows the moves. Everyone knows. As soon as it comes on, it's like, enchanté, may I have this dance for the Macarena? No, we all
Is
go
your dance card full? Is your dance card too full for the Macarena?
That's
right. But then it falls at, like, is the Macarena still going? Because if it is, it's having an incredible run, right? Like, it must be still a thing, right? At weddings and stuff.
Maybe a wedding, but I'll agree with you that the waltz is a more enduring.
But it's not.
Is it though?
It's not. That's the thing. It fell out of fashion with the 20s when everybody's like,
all this shit gets recycled in some capacity or another.
Right, but there's the music. Is the music gonna survive? Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean,
but I think that there's a much closer link between the Beatles and Taylor Swift than there is between Brahms and the Beatles. I mean, did the Beatles have like George Martin doing classical instrumentation on their tracks and strings and stuff like that? Yes. But they were inspired, like not inspired by Beethoven, right, as much as they were by Roll Over Beethoven. Holy fuck! Did I write that down? I didn't write that down.
Wow.
It's the most insightful thing I've ever said.
Yeah.
I think it's situational.
Well, here another question is: in 2060. Are people still going to be listening to Taylor Swift or the Beatles? What are they more likely to be listening to? Because I think that the Beatles will still be relevant. Will Taylor Swift be relevant? We're talking
I do think so, because
4 years from now.
Because she's going to still be releasing music for at least another decade, like in a popular way, right? One would assume. So that's 2035. Yeah. So that means that parents that have kids in 2025 will show their kids that music, the music that they listen to, right, or even 2035, 2040. Right. So yeah, I do think I'm not going to say it'll be the most popular thing. Yeah. But absolutely, it's part of the pop canon.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy to think. 100-year-old songs.
But but this is sort of my point. Like, we all listen to music from the 60s, and fine, I've said the Beatles, but like, pull fucking anything from the British Invasion, like to the Who, to the Stones, to like Motown, to Stax, I mean, we're constantly listening to music from that time period.
And it's also so accessible. Everybody's going to listen to it all. It's not going anywhere. It's not like it's going to be inaccessible. I mean, people like to go, look how cool I am. Nobody listens to this. So it's going to make its way up to the surface again, regardless.
Yeah, but in that way, what's interesting is like, I don't know if I envy or feel bad for them, because for me, born in 81, let's say by the late 90s when file sharing comes out and you can really at scale start downloading music and listening to things, I only had 40 years of popular music to really learn about and go back to. Someone born in 2060 will have 100 years.
Right.
It's just a lot of stuff. Like, I would say that the deep cuts might fall off.
Yeah.
And then the more of the consensus stuff people will listen to. But like you could dig deep in the record crate for a nugget from the 70s or something that when you only had 40 years to look back on made sense. But if you have 100 years and then later 150 years, won't that stuff get kind of lost to time? And it will just be the big ticket bands?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but there's also this penchant for celebrating anniversaries, right? Which Mozart never got, right? Like nobody was like, it's 50-year anniversary of Magic Flute, you know? Like, you gonna go to the theater to see Magic Flute, you know?
Bro, this year we're celebrating all 4 of Vivaldi's seasons.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't, you know, but there will absolutely be, you know, I think there was the 50th anniversary of the soundtrack to Grease, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They'll be like, it's the 100th anniversary of Led Zeppelin 4,
totally.
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah. Movies help as well. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the songs that Quentin Tarantino have pulled out of the, that I've never heard, but are definitely like, to me, archival music.
Yep.
You're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, a great example of that.
Yeah.
And literally everything on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. Literally all of those songs.
Yeah, like
were completely irrelevant, but
I'm trying to think of what was Counting Flowers on the Wall
Yeah.
that don't bother. You know, like that's a song that a child has never heard until that movie.
yeah, totally. So
Reservoir Dogs too has some very deep cuts that became popular then because of it.
100%.
Anyways, it's just a thought. Let us know what you think.
I like it. I like that thought.
Comment below. Comment below the static-free video. All right. Well, I promised you as we're doing just these one show a week that I'm going to be bringing in elements from the Monday show. So I have an unpopular opinion for you.
Okay.
Introducing your wife as my beautiful wife is weird. So this person says, men often introduce their wives as my beautiful wife. This happens so frequently, no one thinks about how weird it is. If your wife is genuinely beautiful, it's self-evident, and the comment comes off as bragging or at least unnecessary. It also suggests that her appearance is her most important quality. However, if she's not beautiful, the comment comes off as sarcastic or disingenuous. People might say the guy thinks she's beautiful and that's what matters. That's a nice sentiment, but there are studies that show there are objective criteria for beauty, and most people, men or women, do not fit the bill. So what a guy really means is, I love my wife despite her appearance, which is sweet but weird. And then he adds a disclaimer at the end. For the record, I'm mildly handsome, I'm not single, and I have dated beautiful and not beautiful women. Let's introduce our wives by their names and ditch this weird, outdated tradition.
or maybe on the daily. My annoying and crass woman. My wife, I mean.
Woman.
The old ball and chain.
Here's my annoying woman.
And JD, who's this annoying woman standing next to you?
Oh, her? She's my annoying wife.
JD, why don't you introduce us to this old battle axe? Rachel, let's get your thoughts on this first, because I know that I'm certainly, and JD, maybe you've been married for, well, I'm not even married yet, but do you get introduced as my beautiful husband, my handsome husband?
My Legolas-eared husband.
Literally never. Never.
I would be very taken aback if he said that. I'd be like,
Said my beautiful wife?
yeah. Just like, that's, first of all, it would make me feel very awkward.
If he said, this is my beautiful wife?
Yeah.
It does sound off of my lips. It's definitely.
Okay, try it.
Don't get me wrong. I think my wife is beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's sexy. I tell her that almost every day. Right?
Yes,
Back
he
me
does.
Up. Back me up.
Thank you for adding almost.
Yeah, we all have our off days, Matt.
Sometimes she wakes up with those lines from the pillow on her face.
That's
I'm not
right.
going to lie to her.
I think I look better on those days. It's adorable.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm not good at fuck you. I'm not good at taking compliments ever, and I'm still not good at taking them from him, which is, I mean, I could dig deeper into that, but I won't.
Yeah.
So to bring it up in front of strangers would make me just go, like, this person is now judging whether they think I'm beautiful or not. Awesome. I feel very awkward right now. No, thank you.
Well, you know who does this all the time?
Who?
J.E. Skeets. I think he does it every time he introduces Nora on the show. He says, "This is my beautiful wife, Nora."
Oh, when she's on the show.
When she's on the show, yeah.
Well, that's just their thing.
Or
But then he's also saying...
Does he say it on the show?
I have heard him say that before.
And he says it. He'll say it when she's not in the room either. He'll say, "Oh, tune in tomorrow or later on today. We are doing No Buffs with my beautiful wife Nora." That's what he says.
Yeah. So you know what my criticism in that case would be? He's saying it too much. It's losing all meaning.
No, I mean, it's just obvious. She's fucking drop dead gorgeous. I remember when we went to a party with all y'all near Ryerson. Maybe it was that. I don't know where it was. Anyway.
Oh, you're talking like early 2000s here.
Yeah.
Like the first time I had ever met Nora.
So yeah, this is probably 2003 or 4.
And I think I shocked him with maybe my authenticity, as I often do for most people. And I was like, "Oh my God, your girlfriend is gorgeous." And he was like, why, what? Like, it was just too, like...
It's too much. You came
on
too strong.
I came on
in a way
too
that
strong.
made him think we've been looking at your vibe from across... we've been looking from across the bar and enjoy your vibe.
I'm checking her out too much.
Well, also, he hadn't become accustomed to your enthusiasm, which can be a bit much sometimes.
It could be a bit much. It's a real punch in the face for a lot of people.
And this is my over-enthusiastic wife, Rachel.
Turn the volume down. Turn the volume down, bitch. Or you're meeting a new person.
It does sort of give when somebody says it, not Skeets. I think it's fine with
it's
Skeets.
very natural.
I don't know
with him
why
and Nora.
it just works in that scenario. So maybe I think it's a case by case, maybe, but sometimes it can come off as like, guys, she's beautiful, okay? Like,
you had just gotten into a fight in the car on the way over. That's right. You're trying to smooth it over.
or just like, she thinks I keep telling her she's beautiful. She's beautiful, right? Like, hey, this is my beautiful wife, Rachel. Here she is, like.
Or maybe it's a cry for help from the husband. Like, I'm going to get my ass kicked later. Help.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe like, Rachel, like, you have one of those days, and I'm a man, but I have them too, where you're getting ready to go out. You put the thing on that you thought, I'm going to wear this. You look in the mirror, you're like, what have I become?
I just gained 30 pounds in 5 minutes.
I know me. I know this item of clothing, and I've worn it before, and yet when you combine the two, I look hideous. Right. So then you're rooting through the closet, you're trying on everything, suddenly you're in tears, and you're going, nothing fits! I look like shit! And then maybe we get to the event, and then, JD's like, my beautiful wife, so that... Because he knows what you just went through, and he wants to build up the self-esteem.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that shit. I'll read right through it.
She would never buy it.
I can read you. I can read you, boy. Mm-hmm.
Hey. She's got your number, JD.
Mm-hmm.
She does.
So is that why you just say my wife, Rachel? Because those are just objective facts. She is your wife.
She is my wife.
There's a piece of paper that show that, and her name is Rachel. Another piece of paper that shows that.
Yeah, exactly. And I am very much a. Yeah, you can see how cute she is. There's no reason for me to add.
I want
to
you
this.
to be saying it.
Yeah.
I want you to leave the party going.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, exactly. So.
How do you introduce JD?
I often forget.
I often forget he's even there.
I'll be standing there holding her purse and her coat. This is my
this is my pet rock of a husband, Jason.
Honestly, I do it so often, and I'm like, oh shit, I thought you already met before.
And I'll never say anything because I won't know if she maybe forgot this person's name. You know what I mean?
That's a
which
good
happens a lot.
possibility.
So I'll just sort of stand there, and if I have an opportunity, I'll just go, oh hey, I'm Jason, and then
just everybody give people allowances for having neurocircuitry that farts every now and then, and you can't remember shit because you're really not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
Do you agree though with this person that not everyone's beautiful?
I think everybody has some part of them that's beautiful.
What if that part is like their lower back and they're wearing a shirt?
I wish I had a beautiful lower back. That's when
Wasn't that why you got that tattoo there?
Yeah, cover up some things with a tramp stamp.
I don't know. I think it's fine. I think there's beauty in everybody as well.
Okay.
But I don't think you need to describe the person that you are introducing.
And if it's natural, it feels natural. Like with Phil, you just don't even bat an eye. It's not weird. Yeah. You're just like, oh, that's nice. But if you're forcing it, you're like, thanks for putting me and your wife in this situation. Thanks. Awesome.
Do you want to play a game of Is This a Scam before we go?
Oh.
Sure. Let's get me all riled up.
So I got an Instagram, not a DM. Like this was I don't post very much on the grid. Mm-hmm. So someone commented on a post, the last post that's up there, which is months old at this point.
Scam.
All right. Well,
done.
I don't know. I actually kind of think it's legit. I just think it's kind of also insane. All right. So here's what it says. Hi, Matt. I'm head of marketing at Modal GR, a small technology company in Brazil. We recently went through a rebranding, and coincidentally, our new brand name is Mostin, the same name you're using. My Instagram handle is MOSTEN. What a great time to tell you. Give me a follow. We have the trademark registered here and have submitted a request for Instagram to connect with you regarding your handle. However, I wanted to reach out personally and kindly ask if you'd be willing to transfer the account name to us so we can proceed with our branding. Oh. Would you be open to helping us? I appreciate your support. Let me know your thoughts.
That feels like a scam for sure.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think it's actually real because I clicked on, it was a woman that left the comment, so obviously I can click on her. She does seem to work for this company. I looked up the name of the company.
Yeah.
It does seem to be real.
But it's Model? Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. It's...
Oh, well, fuck it. Well, I don't care.
Who cares?
MODALGR. Modal GR. But I looked up Austin and Mostin and to see if it means anything in Portuguese. Couldn't find anything.
Right.
Oh, that's sus.
Well, are they willing to pay?
That's what I don't like about this message. You think I'm responding to a random person from Brazil? No shade to Brazil, the largest country in South America, I believe. Mm-hmm. But don't you need to entice me to respond to a random person and to do something inconvenient? Give up my handle, which is my first initial, and it's not like I'm like cool guy 69. Like,
right.
I mean, in that case, also 3 things that are true. Right. But yeah, shouldn't you be like, we'd be willing to pay a fee to facilitate this transfer? And also, what's up with this kind of threat that's not stated like a threat? We've submitted a request for Instagram to connect with you regarding the handle. What's Instagram going to say? A company in Brazil is going through a rebranding. Give them your name.
It feels...
Say fuck you, Zuckerberg, fuckerberg.
Well, they're not going to say. They may have sent an email to Meta, but I can't see them saying anything.
What can you even do? What
you can't do.
What anything. Is the justification for that? I can send an email. I'm saying, is this good? Is rebranding to No Dunks? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Is this good rebranding to the Joe Rogan podcast? So then I email Instagram. I say, hey, as you can see from this logo design that I did in Canva, we are now called the Joe Rogan podcast. So please give us his handle.
Just come up with a new name, dummies. Like, why?
Or just go...
If it's not a scam.
If it's... Call it Mostin GR. Or just...
Yeah.
Mostin... I don't even know. They're a small technology company. So let's say they just call the Instagram handle Mostin Software or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
However you say software in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Ignore.
So I think this is not a scam, but I think it's a ignore.
Well, yeah, ignore, and then maybe they'll try to... sweeten the pot a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm only going to benefit by holding out and being obstinate.
Yeah.
And how much money do you think I should take? Like, let's say they do offer me money. Because it's a short handle. It's only 6 letters. Mm-hmm. It, again, is my name.
I think it's going to depend on what you want to change it to and if that's available. Because you don't want to
I could go Mostin 81
You don't know that.
Oh,
you haven't actually done any searching yet. It may be incredibly difficult.
That's true.
Mostin,
this could be an incredible hardship.
$10,000.
Mostin Cool Guy 69. Exclamation
Man,
point.
you're thinking, Rachel.
No, you change it to Mostin Software. You charge them $10,000, and then you change it to...
Yeah, exactly. Not only do I not consent to giving you my name, I went on GoDaddy.com and bought Mostin.com, Mostin.br. I think it's going to be honestly more than $10,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is exciting.
USD, by the way.
Yeah. Get out of here with what do they have in Brazil?
Portuguese lira. No.
Is it still lira down there?
No. It wouldn't be lira, I don't think, anyways. Oh,
not pesos? No.
No, that's Spanish. They're Portuguese. What's going on in Portugal with their currency?
They're the euro, are they not?
This is why we can't be the Joe Rogan Show. On the Joe Rogan Show, they would have looked this up already.
Yeah.
Not here.
You mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a point. What am I going to find out? I mean, just to satisfy our curiosity, sure. What's the currency in Portugal called? I would do it for, if you're listening, Modal GR, head of marketing, 100K. No, okay, realistically, 50K. 25K, we're having a meeting. I guess at the end of the day, if you had a suitcase with $10,000 in unmarked bills, I learned that from Denethys Pantera. I guess it'd be pretty silly not to take 10 grand to change my name.
But you never post on your grid, so who cares?
Well, I do stories.
The Brazilian real.
Real.
Our dollar sign. That's how it looks.
Cool.
Okay, there you go. So hit me up, head of marketing at Modal GR. But my time is valuable.
Yes.
Much like a sound man from Atlanta. I don't get out of bed for less than 10K. All right. That is This Good? Oh, you know what? I just realized I said The Great Beyond off the top.
Oh, I guess we're...
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Well,
that's the last time that's going to happen. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/isthisgood. Ad-free episodes, thriving community, exclusive episodes, greater good content. We're going to tape one right after this, in fact. So go to patreon.com/isthisgood. Send topics for future shows to isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. This was JD, Matt, and Rachel saying, is this good? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Bye.